Well, Mr. Meta, thanks for coming in early for your detention today.
Of course. I figured the earlier I'm here, the quicker I get to leave.
I'm afraid not, John. Do you know why I asked you to come in today?
Sure. Skipping through a lesson isn't quite appropriate, I'm guessing.
Not exactly. You see, I know you're a bright kid. You just don't like how the school is structured. But I really believe that my lesson today would spark some sort of interest.
Yes, no. It won't, Mr. T. You and all the other teachers I've had say the same bullshit 24/7, expecting us to believe that anything could be explained in the world. Well, it can't. Then you have to make us memorize all these pointless crap just to try to earn a stupid A on a stupid test. Well, newsflash. No one's actually learning here, dude. Sorry.
Well, you didn't let me finish. But
Okay.
today we talked about metaphysical poems. Do you know what metaphysical means?
Things that can't be explained by science. Like love and death and religion and all that.
So you're familiar with this stuff.
You're kidding me. I read these types of poems all the time.
Really? Name me a John Donne poem and analyze it right now.
Well, there's this one poem called Woman's Constancy, and it basically talks about how inconsistent a woman can be. How one day she likes him, and the next day she'll give a billion excuses of why she doesn't. What's ironic is, though, at the end, the guy admits that he would do the same exact thing if he was put in the same situation.
Exactly. Donne emphasizes the complexity of love and also personifies it by saying, love and his wrath.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite work of his?
Well, actually, no. I think my favorite one would be Death Be Not Proud.
Why?
Because in that poem, death is referred to as a person, and John Donne just spends the entire time proving how weak death really is. It gets kind of funny when he contradicts himself by saying, "Poor death, nor yet canst thou kill me," which makes no sense, but I guess it does in a way.
Yeah, that one's pretty great. And we also talked about in the class, George Herbert. Do you know any of his works?
Yeah. I like the one that's called Easter Wings. Each stanza starts out depressing and gloomy, and it gets positive towards the end because of the Lord's enlightenment. I feel like each stanza just represents life's tendencies to have lots of ups and downs. And as he compares himself to a bird, he shows us physically that we can rise above any obstacles we face. Plus, the format's pretty cool because it's like two arrows moving forward, and that shows that we should also move forward in life no matter what. Or it could just be a pair of wings. Nonetheless, it's pretty brilliant.
Wow, you're really enthusiastic about this. But we didn't talk about that one. We talked about the one called The Windows.
What's that one about?
Well, it's about a person who constantly questions whether or not he had the right to preach to his Lord because of all the sins he committed. There's an obscure conceit when he's comparing life and stained glass. And the stained glass does symbolize life, as it has many imperfections, but God still uses it to be a window through thy grace.
Interesting. What else did I miss, John, by that?
Well, you missed an author named Anthony Marvel.
Oh, yeah. I admire his works, especially the ones that talk about the relationship between the mower and the Juliana.
Bingo. We talked about all four of those.
I really like the one called The Mower to the Glowworms, where he's on his lawn at night and these glowworms help find his way home. But because of his love for Juliana, he gets completely distracted, and by the end of the poem he says, "That I shall never find my home." These glowworms are like a symbol for something good, and the infatuation to something evil, which is kind of upsetting because his love is pushing him down a path that's not healthy.
Wow. Our class hasn't even gotten into detail that much yet. And we probably never will.
True. Did you guys read the last one, the mower's song? This is where the mower gets upset when he recalls to a time where his emotions actually reflected off of the meadows that he tends to. But now that Juliana doesn't love him back, he gets depressed and dark, and he even gets mad at the grass for growing nicely like they usually do. And then there's that weird comparison between the feelings to the meadows, especially when the meadow symbolizes harmony, in which now the narrator lacks. You see, none of these topics that we ever talk about would ever be truly explained in your textbooks. No offense, but this is why I'd rather read poems than pay attention to your lessons, Mr. T.
Well, that's kind of ironic. You learn more out of class than in. But here. Book full of poems, it'll probably interest you. And please, participate in class more. You have great input, and you'll probably be surprised by the results. And with that, you're free to go.
Whatever. Mr. T?
Yep.
Thanks.
I'll go. I'll see you in class tomorrow, Mr. Meta.